4, 3, 2.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call our meeting to order with a quick roll call. Regent Acker.
Present.
Regent Beam.
Here.
Regent Bernstein. Regent Brown. Regent Hubbard.
Here.
Regent Illich.
Here.
Regent Myers. Regent White. Thank you again for joining us in what is becoming a semester of achievement and a year of opening opportunity. For it is through access that we empower our students, through opportunity that we lift our university, and through achievement that we shape our society. For instance, we recently established a new partnership with OpenAI, one that will bring additional resources, research funding, and computing power to our community. This collaboration will include joint research projects between the university and OpenAI, which are focused on AI applications that broadly benefit society. In addition, through our AI and digital health initiative, we are creating a unified network to accelerate healthcare-focused AI solutions across the university. Our College of Pharmacy was recently given a prestigious award for demonstrating a major institutional commitment to addressing unmet needs. And we recently launched a new alliance to promote hydrogen fuel for internal combustion engines. As we achieve all of this and so much more, it is vital that we continue to build upon our foundations of student opportunity, achievement, and excellence. As the year progresses, this will include an expansion of services such as career counseling, mental health resources, and other essential supports which meet the needs of our students. This also includes targeted investments such as the expansion in the Go Blue Guarantee, which was enhanced earlier this academic year and now extends free tuition to in-state students from families with annual incomes of up to $125,000 and assets up to $125,000. This program breaks economic barriers and ensures that a life-changing University of Michigan education is available to students throughout Michigan, no matter their economic means. We will also develop a plan to enhance the Blaven Scholars Program, which offers a community of support, including mentors and coaches for undergraduate students who have faced and are overcoming incredible challenges, such as foster care or kinship care, or creating their dreams at the University of Michigan without the support of their parents or guardians. Through these measures, we are reaffirming our focus on student access and opportunity by ensuring our resources are pointed towards the people and programs which directly impact the success of our community. And as we do so, we will sustain and strengthen our highest traditions and aspirations as a university. Freedom of thought and inquiry, the creation of new knowledge and new breakthroughs through the support of basic research and applied R&D, the upholding of our democracy, and the opening of new horizons and new opportunities. These are fundamental to our ethos and purpose as a great public university. This isn't my opinion alone, but the consensus of great leaders and bipartisan policymakers over America's centuries. To give just a couple of examples, Abraham Lincoln is the only U.S. president to earn a patent. In his seminal report to President Franklin Roosevelt, entitled Science, the Endless Frontier, Vannevar Bush declared, quote, "Without scientific progress, no amount of achievement in other directions can ensure our health, prosperity, and security as a nation in the modern world," unquote. And in his radio address to the nation on April 22nd, 1988, former President Ronald Reagan observed, quote, "The remarkable thing is that although basic research does not begin with a particular practical goal, when you look at the results over the years, it ends up being one of the most practical things government does." This is our tradition as a nation, an institution, and a university. This is strengthening our competitiveness and the growth of our prosperity as a nation. And this is our commitment to do everything in our power to lift our society and ensure that every Wolverine will rise, achieve, and fulfill their dreams. Thanks again for joining us, all of you, today. We're going to move on to the rest of our business for this meeting. But I'd like to hand it over first to Regent Hubbard, who has some remarks. Regent Hubbard.
I'm going to pass for a minute. I might come back to it.
Oh, okay.
Coffee.
Oh, okay. Provost Macaulay will introduce today's presentation.
Thank you, President Ono. Angela Dillard is the inaugural Vice Provost for Undergraduate Education at the University of Michigan and the Richard A. Meisler Collegiate Professor of Afro-American and African Studies and History in LS&A. She also maintains affiliated faculty status within the residential college, where she's a member of the Social Theory and Practice program. Dillard is an interdisciplinary scholar who specializes in American intellectual history, particularly around issues of race, religion, and politics on both the left and the right sides of the political spectrum. In her role as a vice provost, which is what brings her here today, she is responsible for leading, overseeing, and advancing continual improvements in the educational experience for our more than 34,000 undergraduate students in partnership with schools and colleges on the Ann Arbor campus. Please join me in welcoming Vice Provost Dillard.
Thank you so much, Provost Macaulay, and good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here to present a high-level overview of the UM Student Success Initiative that enjoyed an official launch party at the end of February. And I've been working with teams of faculty, data analysts, unit leaders, advisors, and others across schools and colleges and within student life to build. I'll be talking first about some of the approaches that we've been using, second, about some of the implementation strategies that we've pursued thus far, and finally, about our plans for the immediate future. Our approach, first and foremost, is best described as data-driven and evidence-based, drawing on quantitative and qualitative research to understand patterns associated with successful students and to identify pain and pressure points that keep students from, say, graduating within a 4-year time frame, which is one of our major benchmarks. While many universities are using big data approaches to increase their retention and graduation rates overall, we're using them to close key equity and opportunity gaps, and whenever possible, to foster a sense of belonging and lower barriers to access to everything a Michigan undergraduate education has to offer. Let me shift next to the intersection of research and campus-wide action using the example of early momentum. It adopts a start strong, stay strong perspective for first-year, first-time students and encourages them to enroll for and complete at least 30 credits by the end of their first year. Most of our students already do this, which helps to account for our high 4-year graduation rates, but not everyone does. Some students, for instance, are told, get to campus, get settled, take fewer credits, and then jump in with both feet in your sophomore year. This well-meaning piece of advice, often given by loved ones to our talented first-generation students, Pell-eligible students, and students from under-resourced high schools, turns out to be not so great in terms of credit accumulation for students who want to graduate in 4 years. That's not the only measure of success, but it's important for college affordability, and it's a factor in some national rankings, including U.S. News and World Report. Early momentum is also a high achievement message that has been shown to help all students a little, to help students who get stuck in those graduation gaps exponentially, and best of all, to harm no one. We have now found evidence of negative impact on GPAs and have speculated on the benefits of tackling a full load early on in terms of time management and persistence. This slide has a distillation of data findings and explains why we're targeting students in the 12 to 13.5 credit enrollment category. they have tended to only have a roughly 72% chance of graduating in 4 years, which is good. But why not seek to close the gaps at 81%? We also believe that early momentum can assist us in identifying ways that our institutional arrangements and practices promote or deter credit accumulation. From how academic advising and registration happen, to being pedagogically attentive to courses with high rates of failure and withdrawal, and reviewing policies around taking academic leaves, among others. Advising has been high on this list. Working with the Advising Council and the Center for Academic Innovation, we're creating eCoach for advisors as an early warning tool. It draws on institutional data to identify students below the 14 credit mark and allows advisors to send pre-programmed nudges like this one to Frank, a first-year student only registered for 12 credits at the beginning of the fall term. I can't tell you what Frank did, but I can say that we have evidence that these nudges work during the fall term. In this snapshot from August 8th to September 4th, we saw movement towards registration for more credits and away from low credit status. There are multiple reasons for these shifts, but eCoach for Advisors is one of them, and we're looking forward to further developing this tool. Indeed, early momentum remains the oldest of the 5 project teams currently underway as part of the Student Success Initiatives. Career Services, which recently did their initial launch, is the newest. In terms of where we're going next, here are the 5 project areas we hope to launch by the end of the calendar year. We've just added transfer student success to the list because of a growing sense that we could be doing more to support transfer students from community colleges in the state of Michigan, and because we've had some good data findings about a version of early momentum for them too. Ultimately, all of these projects offer opportunities for useful tweaks and innovations that center the lived experience of our students, especially those who have been traditionally underserved. They are all cross-unit, collaborative, and deeply embedded in a desire to use data, research, and universal design principles to ensure that all students succeed in college and beyond. My thanks to Provost McCauley for her leadership and vision in this endeavor, and to all of you for your time and attention this afternoon. Happy to take a few questions if you have them. Great question. These findings about early momentum include athletes, and we've run a separate analysis on them, and it benefits them as well. I'll also say that a lot of us on campus have been learning from the approach to academic success that athletics has long taken. They're probably one of the more mature areas on campus that have been using a variety of approaches to try and hit this 4-year graduation mark, certainly the 6-year rate, to beef up advising, academic coaching. So they've been tremendous partners, and they've been a really strong example for the rest of us. Yeah.
Is there, 17 plus, is there a point you start to see diminishing in terms of?
There are, and in fact, one school in particular, the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, I hope I get this right, otherwise I'm going to get a call from a dean this afternoon. They're actually trying to lower the number of credits their first-year students take. It's a little high, and actually this starts to create problems if your credit load is too high as well. So great question. Yeah, so we're really thinking about how to better utilize spring, summer, because it's a full credit load, 30 credits or more by the end of the year. That can include spring and summer. And one idea we've had is to launch a special fellowship that might help students who finish the winter below that credit mark maybe do some work over the spring or summer, either on campus or remotely, and that we might find ways of supporting that to get them to that 30 credit mark. Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of a similar question. So if you look at the impact of study abroad sometime during their undergraduate experience, but also the kinds of programming that might occur within the residence hall. Can you speak to that?
So it's a little unusual for our first-year students to do study abroad, but it does happen here and there. And so we have actually done just a little bit of, how does that matter either way, in terms of credit accumulation and a sense of belonging on campus. We certainly also looked at educational opportunities in residence halls around belonging. That's an impact too on credit accumulation and how well you might do academically. We want to crisscross some of what happens in residence halls, what happens in student life, and what happens in our classrooms, and to really think holistically about what that means for the young people we have as first-year students. So yeah, we are putting everything on the table, looking for where we can move needles a bit, here and there to produce better outcomes for our students.
The reason why I asked is that, as you know, there's some pretty well-known cases where part of the freshman cohort actually starts abroad.
Yes.
And the data are surprising. So I didn't know what the situation was here at Michigan.
Yeah, I think we've been a little more keyed in on the possibility of winter starts, which is an interesting question as well. So we've got kind of a baseline now of a really good set of data. And then now we're looking at variations in student experiences and how they interact with these baselines. So yeah, definitely those are both great things to be aware of.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation and for your work. I think I'm going to hand it over now to Regent Hubbard. I think you're going to make some comments.
Yeah, thank you, President Ono. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the men's basketball team on winning the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Thank you to Dusty May and the team for all your focus and hard work. And good luck tonight in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Go Blue. But second, the other championship I wanted to acknowledge is congratulations to the University of Michigan debate team regarding their victory in the 2025 American Debate Association National Tournament last week. U of M debate director Aaron Call's leadership is a great example of the kind of spirit we need more of at the university. So to that end, I'm renewing my call for the university to incorporate more opportunities to bring students together in a way that allows them to discuss differences through civil discourse. These opportunities should be embedded in freshman orientation and required for first-year students. There are examples around the country where universities are including these opportunities via the American Council of Trustees and Alumni, their College Debates and Discourse Alliance, and also I'm looking forward to the full launch of the U of M Institute for Civil Discourse. This promises to strengthen debate and dialogue across the vast spectrum of ideologies and political perspectives on campus and beyond. So if we establish supportive environments for all voices to be heard, we will better be able to settle our differences civilly without anger, vandalism, and attacks to university leadership. Thank you, President Ono.
Thank you, Regent Hubbard. By the way, just to respond briefly to the enthusiasm about the Institute for Civil Discourse, I just want to say that we're moving full speed ahead. I don't want to make any premature announcements, but I think we can move pretty quickly with that one.
I'm excited for it to be up and running.
Thank you for that. All right, we're going to move on to the Regents Committee reports, and I turn to Regent Bernstein.
Thank you, President Ono. Finance, Audit, and Investment Committee met. We included Regents Hubbard, Myers, and I think all Regent Brown. We met with WPC for Chad to discuss PwC fiscal year 2024 external audit completion, the fiscal year 25 external audit plan, and the fiscal year 25 external audit fees.
Thank you very much. Regent Beam.
Thank you, President Ono. The Health Affairs Committee, including Regents Brown, Hubbard, and myself, met with EVPMA Runge and U of M Health President Miller for updates on U of M Health and Michigan Medicine finances. The committee also received a number of informational reports. Thank you.
Thank you. And Regent Illich.
Thank you, President Ono. Personnel compensation and governance committee met, including Regent Acker. We met with the EVPs Macaulay and Chattis to discuss executive restructuring with Associate Vice President Holcomb, a future governance bylaws project with Special Counsel Churchill, and a number of other personnel matters.
Thank you very much. Before we go on with the consent agenda, we will vote on the conflict of interest. Section 9, items 5 through 10 are conflicts of interest, each of which requires 6 votes for approval. Before I do that, does anyone have any questions or the need to request recusal from voting on any particular item? If so, please let me know. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Show of hands. Motion is carried. We now move on to the consent agenda. Chancellor Grasso has a report from Dearborn.
Thank you, President Ono. I am delighted to share and that I was honored to provide the keynote address at the University of Florida Quest Day, which is their approach to general education across the entire university. And I shared the exciting things that we're doing at the University of Dearborn in holistic excellence, our adaptation to DEI, and practice-based learning. On May 1st, we are going to celebrate at Michigan Central Station the Look to Michigan campaign for the university. And you're all going to get invitations. I hope you open them and accept the invitation and join us. It's going to be a black tie affair, and the MC for the event is going to be Ward Manuel. So he'll be exciting to listen to there. May 1st. May 1st. And another exciting piece of news is our medical school applicants. We had a 69% acceptance rate to medical school at the University of Michigan Dearborn. This is in contrast to a mid-40s acceptance rate for MD and DO schools. So that is significantly higher, and we're very proud of not only the students, but the faculty and staff that supported them and helped them get across the finish line. Our U of M Dearborn gaming program, and I'm not a big fan of rankings, but I will share these with you. Our U of M Dearborn, our U of M gaming program was ranked in the top 50 by Princeton Reviews, which we're very proud of. And Poets and Quants ranked our undergraduate business school in the top 100, and there were only 3 Michigan schools ranked in the top 100: Ross, Broad at Michigan State, and U of M Dearborn. There were no other state universities for undergraduate business ranked in the top 100. So we're very, very proud of that. And finally, our commencement will be April 26th. We expect 1,100 graduates, and Jim Scapa, who is the CEO of Altair, which is a very large corporation, and one of our alums will be speaking as our commencement speaker. Go Blue, go Dearborn.
Thank you so much. And I should say, you know this, Domenico, that there was a tweet at me asking, can UM Dearborn graduates also attend the Big House graduation? And the answer is yes. So if they're so moved, they can attend 2 graduations. Chancellor Alexander.
Thank you, President Ono. First, U of M Flint nursing students are leading an initiative called Nature First to address Michigan's infant mortality crisis. Nature First equips families with essential education and resources during a child's first year. In collaboration with Hurley Medical Center, students provide bedside education on critical topics like safe sleep, car seat safety, and postpartum depression. With aspirations to expand nationally, Nurture First is shaping a model for community-centered nursing education while empowering families to navigate early parenthood with confidence. Second, Associate Professor Riza Amini, assisted by 5 student research assistants, is collaborating with the Genesee County Health Department to support the development of its strategic plan, including a comprehensive community health needs assessment. Amini will moderate nearly a dozen focus group discussions and conduct surveys to gather insights from diverse community stakeholders. The findings will help identify key health priorities and service gaps, guiding the county's health department's strategic planning and future initiatives. And finally, last but not least, after placing in the Great Lakes Regional Moot Court Competition in November 2024, recent graduate Sammy Katab and current senior Alyssa Washington competed in the American Moot Court Association Tournament. The pair ranked 12th in the nation for their oral arguments and 5th for their written advocacy, making them the highest-ranked moot court team among all our campuses. My sincere congratulations and best wishes to our students and faculty on their great accomplishments. And with that, President Ono, that concludes my report. Go Flint and go Blue.
Thank you so much. Chancellor Alexander, before we move on to the next speaker, I shared a wonderful photograph of you. It's my favorite. I want to actually frame it. And you even made a news because of it. Could you enlighten this entire community about what that photograph showed?
I sure can, President Ono. I had the pleasure on Giving Blue Day at U of M Flint of being taped to the wall. Yes, I was taped to the wall with dozens of pieces of tape, and then they pulled a stool out from under me, and I remained plastered against the wall. But it was all for a great cause. It was for the purpose of gathering the folks on our campus around this great university and raising funds for our students and for our faculty at Giving Blue Day.
You're a great sport, and I have an idea for the students for next year. Have you ever been in a dunk tank?
I never have.
Oh, we can arrange for that.
Have you, Mr. President?
I have.
What if this idea is thrown back at you?
Continuing on the theme of Giving Blue Day, I wanted to ask Tom Baird to make some comments.
That's great. So it was a great prelude to my comments. Yesterday was a very successful Giving Blue Day, 24 hours of giving. We received 11,125 gifts from donors to total $4.7 million. 25% of those gifts came from faculty, staff, and current students. We had donors from 50 states, 26 countries. This day expands our giving community and our donor pipeline. So it was a very successful day. Thanks to the university community and our donors.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to personnel actions, and I think Provost McCauley has some comments. Exciting.
Yes, thank you, President Ono. I'm delighted to recommend the appointment of Professor Neil Sukatme as the David A. Breach Dean of Law and Professor of Law with tenure at the law school, effective July 1st, 2025. Professor Sukatme brings to Michigan law an exceptional interdisciplinary background with a BS in computer engineering from the University of Illinois, a JD from Harvard Law School, and a PhD in economics from Princeton. His impressive career at Georgetown University Law Center includes service as Associate Dean for Research and Academic Programs, where he has led strategic initiatives to strengthen research and academic programming while managing faculty recruitments and budgets. Professor Sukatme's widely published research spans multiple domains, including criminology, patent law, public law, election law, with his studies on felony disenfranchisement, making notable contributions to public discourse. Beyond academia, he has served as the Thomas Alva Edison Visiting Scholar at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and co-founded innovative initiatives, including Free Our Vote, a nonprofit dedicated to restoring voting rights. I'm confident that his dynamic leadership will further elevate the law school's already stellar reputation in legal education and research, and I enthusiastically recommend this appointment.
Thank you very much. Provost McCauley, I want to congratulate you on a successful search. It was a lot of work, and I know that I've had a chance to meet with the candidate, and he's extraordinary, a whirlwind of energy, so thank you for a successful recruitment. There are also retirement memoirs, a memorial, and recommendations for honorary degrees. And that'll conclude our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? A second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion carries. We now move on to finance and property. The first item is the University of Michigan Health West sale of interest in Healthbridge Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, LLC. E.B. Chattis?
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? Motion carries. Item 2, 2147 Health Drive. E.B. Chattis?
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Is there a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. Item 3, 3100 West Big Beaver Road in Troy. EVP Runge, anything?
Nothing to add, President Ono.
Thank you. Second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 4, the University of Michigan Troy Center for Specialty Care. EVP Runge.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
Okay, is there a motion? Second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. Conflict of interest, items 5 to 10 were approved earlier on the agenda. We now move on to section 10, other. Approval of the revised academic calendar for 2025-2026. Ann Arbor, Provost McCauley, anything?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add? Motion? Second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. Is there, item number 2, approval of the amended 2025-2026 academic calendar for University of Michigan Dearborn?
Nothing
Nothing to add? Is there a seconder? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 3, new non-Rackham graduate degree program in the School of Social Work. Provost McCauley?
Nothing to add, Mr.
Is there a
President.
motion? Second? All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining, same sign. Motion passes. We are now pleased to welcome Central Student Government President Mario Taki to give his report.
President Ono, members of the Board of Regents, and executive officers of the university. Although I delivered my inaugural Regents report just 1 month ago, this will be my final address before my term concludes in April. In May, I will be the first member of my family to graduate from university, and I am extremely grateful to the university for their support throughout the last 4 years. While I am excited to begin my career, I cannot help but wish to have more time to advocate for the great 50,000 students of this great institution. However, even with a 4-month term, I am incredibly proud of the work my team has accomplished. Our efforts have addressed a variety of areas that are important to students. First, we've revitalized efforts to establish a partnership between the university and Lyft to provide subsidized late-night transportation for students. This initiative will enhance campus safety by ensuring that all students, regardless of financial circumstances, have access to safe transportation. We have high hopes that this project will begin early implementation this summer for a full rollout in the fall. We've also collaborated with the Maize and Blue Cupboard to identify ways to improve awareness of federal food assistance programs. With 30% of our campus facing food insecurity, we believe that these efforts will have a profound impact on our students and their families. Additionally, we've begun a pilot program for grocery store transportation routes in partnership with Parking and Transportation to run on select weekends in April to demonstrate the need for a future program with institutional support. Finally, a significant issue many students face is navigating the decentralized network of campus resources. My Vice President, Jake, has worked aside student representatives to address these issues. For one, they are working to compile a guide of emergency funds, scholarships, grants, and student organization funding opportunities to ensure that all students can access these resources in times of need. and ultimately it is our responsibility to ensure that these resources are centralized and widely accessible. Therefore, I encourage all of you to assess the accessibility of these resources provided to our students so that they may be fully utilized to those who need them most. In closing, I urge this esteemed body to continue to look towards our bright students as a guiding light in these uncertain times. With new federal guidance regarding higher education emerging almost daily, a rapidly evolving international political landscape, and university policies that threaten freedom of speech and protest against all levels of the institutional hierarchy, student voices remain the common denominator for shaping the path forward. With this in mind, university decisions should always prioritize the interest of the largest stakeholder on campus, the student body. Now is not a time to compromise our values. It is a time to reinforce our university's commitments to its students and continue to cultivate a community of the leaders and best. President Ono, members of the Board of Regents, executive officers, it has been an honor to serve in this role. While Jake and I may be concluding our official capacities at the end of April, our dedication to advocacy is a lifelong, unwavering endeavor. Go Blue forever. Thank you.
Regent Illich.
Just wanted to, first of all, congratulate you, and what a great, lot of accomplishments for a short time, so great job. Could you just repeat what you said was the percentage of students that are food compromised?
Yeah, it's about 30%.
30%, okay, all right, thank you.
Mario, I also want to thank you for your service in this position. I know you've only been there a short time, but we've met twice and set up a regular meeting going forward with your predecessor, those who replace you. Congratulations.
Thank you
it's
so
really,
much.
really exciting to you and your family.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mario, I just want to tell you that it's been a real pleasure to interact with you over the years, especially over the past couple of months, and want to thank you for constantly advocating for students and also for setting the stage for regular interactions. I'm looking forward to an interaction that's coming up between the executive and the cabinet, so we're really, really grateful for everything you've done. Congratulations again. Jordan?
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just be brief and just say it is a lot that you've accomplished in a short amount of time. But it's also a great amount of courage that you've shown, understanding at a really young age the balance between advocacy and activism and what you can actually accomplish on our campus. Sometimes it gets lost a little bit in here, and you've been right at the middle of it this year. And I just want to thank you for your courage, for standing up for what you believe in, but also understanding that you can have a real world impact at the same time. To what President Ono said, I have no doubt that you'll take that courage, you'll take all that hard work and that incredible mustache, and you'll be really successful at no matter what you do next, Mario.
Thank you, Regent Acker.
Fantastic. All the best, all right? We're now moving on to public comments with VP Kinsey.
Thank you, President Ono. We're now moving into the public speaker section of the meeting. As part of the regular meeting agenda, Regents will set aside time for individuals to present comments to the board. All public board meetings are formal events convened under Article 8, Section 4 of the Michigan Constitution, and in keeping with reasonable and appropriate norms of decorum, all attendees, including speakers, should treat others with respect and civility. Individuals who are approved to speak will be expected to speak to the topic that was submitted during the registration submission, truthfully disclose any relevant organizational ties during the registration submission, and promptly cease speaking after the allotted time per speaker. Speakers who do not adhere to these rules may be precluded from speaking and addressing the board in public comments of future board meetings. With that, I'd like to call upon and welcome our first speaker, Kathleen Folger. Welcome, Kathleen. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Folger, and I'm here as a member of and negotiator for Leo Glam, which is the union which represents librarians, archivists, and curators who work across the 3 campuses in the university's galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. I'm here today to tell you a story. It's a love story. once upon a time, or more accurately, a month ago, around Valentine's Day, we set up a table and asked passersby if they wanted to write a love letter to LACS. And LACS is librarians, archivists, and curators. More than 300 jumped at the opportunity to share their deep appreciation and admiration for the work of LACS. I'll share the letters we received after my comment, but I'd like to read out a few of our favorites. One person said they are search engines with a heart. A second grader named Robert said museums help us learn the most. And my personal favorite, librarian, because badass whisperer is an unofficial job. As you know, any good story, even a love story, needs conflict. Since we are in contract negotiations, you might assume conflict has arisen at the bargaining table, but to date, negotiations have been professional and productive. All proposals were presented 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and we already have tentative agreements on over half of them. Much of what remains to be negotiated is economic in nature, however, so we suspect that as the narrative demands, conflict will occur. We wanted to take this opportunity to remind you of the great esteem the UM community feels for librarians, archivists, and curators, as well as the solidarity of Leo Glam, as demonstrated by this petition, which we will also share with you, which is in support of our bargaining platform and was signed by 86% of our members. I'm proud to say we are a small but unified bargaining unit with a very large fan base. So we ask for your support as we navigate through the conflict to reach our happily ever after, or at least happily until our next contract. We also like to share the love with UMF, AFT, AAUP, the union representing the tenure-track faculty at Flint.
I have to say, that was one of the most creative and enjoyable presentations I've heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen. I'd like to now call upon our next speaker, Jason Koznowski. Welcome, Jason. You have 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Board of Regents. I'd like to definitely thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'd like to thank my Leo Glam siblings. I'd also like to celebrate Sammy and Alicia, who Chancellor Alexander mentioned. They've both taken many classes with me, and I'm very proud of their achievements. And I don't know if you know this, Chancellor Alexander or President Ono, Sammy will be joining you at Michigan Law in the fall. So, real success story. But myself, I am the Vice President of UMF AFT AAUP Local 5671, and as you know, we are in the midst of negotiating our first contract, and I would like to give you both an update and make a request. Negotiations up to this point have gone well. We have achieved tentative agreements on important matters. We have bargained in good faith, conceding when warranted, but negotiators for the university have refused to budge on several important issues. These are issues that are central to our ability to ensure that we have the tools we need to help our students achieve excellence, as well as make contributions to the university and community through our research and service. For example, we are seeking that flex modality courses, those presented simultaneously in asynchronous and synchronous modalities, be recognized for what they are, 2 courses requiring different pedagogies to effectively teach. Unless we cheat our students out of the engagement they deserve, what those of us who teach in Flex now face is a work speed up. Just like when an increasingly faster assembly line forces auto workers to assemble more cars per hour, we face the possibility of having to teach the equivalent of 2 classes for the pay and time usually allotted for 1. Furthermore, the administration's negotiators refuse to guarantee tenure-track faculty that they can retain the flexibility we need to adequately perform our responsibilities in reaching research and teaching. Proposals for rigid faculty schedules requiring blanket requirements for on-campus presence undermine our ability to meet students where they are while simultaneously undertaking the rigorous research schedules we maintain. All in all, we are reaching a critical point in our negotiations, and we are willing to do whatever it takes to meet that deadline. However, because our demands are both reasonable and support the work we carry out, we are also mobilizing towards further and more direct action away from the table. So we request that the Board of Regents tell the administrators, negotiators that we mean business, and we hope that we can reach a fair contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I'd like to welcome and call upon our next speaker, Kevin Self. Hello, Kevin. Welcome. You have up to 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
President Ono, Board of Regents, executive leaders, greetings. My name's Kevin Self. I'm a Michigan alum, recently retired executive from the world's most sustainable company, Schneider Electric, now a part-time lecturer at Seas and Ross, and a founding member of the Voices for Carbon Neutrality. 7 years ago next month, I co-led an event at the Michigan Union titled Towards Carbon Neutrality at the University of Michigan, 2025 and beyond, and President Ono even has a signed poster from that event. My intentions were to nudge my alma mater to do more about the environment. We invited 4 other Big Ten universities, including one based in Central Ohio, to speak about their successors and failures and plans moving forward. At the time, Michigan was in the Big Ten's bottom quartile for greenhouse gas emissions, so this gathering was a critical step for us to move forward, which we did. The Presidential Commission on Carbon Neutrality was announced in October 2018, staffed earlier the next year, and in 2021 we had the final report, so we were off and running. Investments with an eye towards sustainability and energy efficiency have been made and will continue being made, and I highlight the new Central Campus dormitory. And thank you for the 2 great hires in Shauna Weber and Shalonda Baker. Of course, there's much more to do, but I do want to pause and say thank you to President Ono, the leadership team, and the Regents for these movements forward, especially at this time. In closing, I'm very proud of this university, including our many top 10 rankings. But as we all know, these rankings can be fleeting. My belief is that now and over the next decade plus, many potential freshmen, prior to making that final decision of spending the next 4 years in Ann Arbor, are going to pause and ask us, remind me again how Michigan is tackling this climate and sustainability crisis, which has been handed to my generation. And my hope is that on this question, we will continue living up to the leaders and the best. Thank you.
Let me just, before you leave, just thank you for your leadership. It was a pleasure for me to meet you early on in my tenure. We will continue to do everything we can. Thank you for taking the time to come here and articulate the importance of this as a priority, not just for the university, but for the world. And I know that you're incredibly busy, and I just wanted you to know how grateful we are that you came here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll call upon our final speaker, Herman Gonzalez. Welcome. You have up to 2 minutes to speak when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Herman Gonzalez, and I am an alum who lives in the area, and I was born in the U.S. I have no organizational ties. By invoking the 1798 wartime law, the Trump admin is bypassing hearings and just deporting people as fast as they can or holding them in inhumane conditions. A doctor, a student, supposed gang members, a regular customer in front of Dos Hermanos in Ypsilanti, and even a Canadian white girl who was in an American Pie movie. It doesn't matter if they are innocent or not. They just want to look like they're fulfilling Trump's promises. Regardless of what you think about the victims' activities, they are being portrayed as boogeymen and used as examples. The current board czar even went on Fox News to celebrate and said, "We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think." He's right. Once they get rid of people like me and Middle Easterners, they will move on to other boogeymen. Remember the last time this act was invoked. From the National Archives, in regards to the World War II internment of Japanese people in the U.S., approximately 122,000 men, women, and children were forcibly moved. Nearly 70,000 of the evacuees were American citizens. I'm so proud of all the U of M faculty and staff and students, especially the history department, speaking out. The signs are there. We need to protect our U of M community. At minimum, push back on ICE orders because they will try every sleazy tactic. We might need tighter restrictions on public searches, such as M Community. Blast those legal right cards on the front page of the UMich website. I know accomplishments in physics are cool, but this is an emergency. Print them out and hand them out in the diag. Make an event out of it. Just don't give the feds any information on people's whereabouts, especially if they sound unsure. Ask them where's the warrant, is it signed by a judge, what's the specific charge, etc. Word on the street is, the officials are frustrated that we know our rights. Do not worry about federal funding being cut. They were going to cut it anyway. If nothing is done, the people here will continue to not feel safe. they'll be too scared to even go to class or run errands or live life. If the worst happens, you would have to explain to your loved ones why they disappeared and that their whereabouts are unknown. Sir Ian McKellen plays a Holocaust survivor who has a speech warning about extermination. No one ever talks about it. They just do it. And you go on with your lives, ignoring the signs around you. And then one day, when the air is still and the night has fallen, they come for you. It's only then you realize, while you were talking about organizing committees, the extermination has already begun. Thank you.
Mr. President, all of our speakers have spoken.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.